Hey guys, NerdSpire here today. I'm going to be talking to you guys about the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to Five Nights at Freddy's. FNAF has had its fair share of high and low points, and everyone is of course allowed their own opinion. Without further ado, here's mine. I'm going to go from worst to best. And by the way, make sure to leave a comment down below if you disagree with my list, and if you liked the video, make sure to subscribe. FNAF Security Breach. FNAF Security Breach was a huge leap from the normal point-and-click style games the FNAF fandom was accustomed to, including myself. I was very excited for this change, however, but the horror aspects and the lore were just losing the plot at this point, to say the least. From the cringy jump scares to the cartoony art style that does anything but add to the horror aspects of the game, I can safely put this in last place. Sister Location. This may be controversial, but this game, in my opinion, ruined the lore. I talked about it in my What's Wrong with FNAF video, which is my most viewed video now, so thank you guys so much. But Sister Location took a huge twist into sci-fi and sci-fi horror, as well as changing into a more free roam style of gameplay. Scott clearly put a lot of effort into this game, but the lore took a nosedive with the introduction of Remnant, Michael getting scooped and somehow surviving, and the animatronics being built to kill kids. FNAF VR2. This is probably my most controversial take yet, but FNAF VR2 didn't quite deliver as well as its predecessor. FNAF VR1 may have been weaker in terms of graphics, but it delivered in lore and fear factor, actually having some scary moments. Most games in FNAF VR2 are small minigames, with the occasional honorable mention like the Eclipse Carousel minigame and the Funtime Freddy minigame, but these minigames were shown before the game even released, leading fans to want more scares and scary moments, and eventually feeling underwhelmed and wanting more. FNAF 6 Pizzeria Sim. I'm sure everyone remembers this game and its unexpected unveiling to the public, and how memorable gameplay was, being quite a change of pace. But the models and jump scares alike have a rushed and flat feel to them, as well as what we can all agree is the biggest downgrade in the history of character design with Scrap Trap. This game has some definite cool moments, however, with the awesome end cutscene like hearing Henry finally getting justice for his daughter and the missing children alike.
And to you monsters trapped in the corridors, be still and give up your spirits. They don't belong to you. For most of you, I believe there is peace and perhaps more waiting for you after the smoke clears. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, friend.
FNAF VR1. Now we are getting into the great games, so don't worry about me dogging too much on your favorites. This game was so different, but such a welcome change, and Steelwool's first game for the franchise. This game has so much to offer, from recreations of the games themselves to minigames and immersive gameplay. This game has some lore aspects that made it interesting, like when Glitchtrap recreates a birthday party and you end up stuffed in Freddy, alluding to the missing children's incident. But the focus on the characters like Vanessa and Fazbear Entertainment, announcing all games thus far were made by some indie developer who hated the company, was a bit of a curveball. FNAF 3. FNAF 3 gets a lot of hate due to having weaker jump scares and a slightly rushed nature, but it delivers almost as well as the number one on this list when it comes to the lore. From awesome minigames and Easter eggs, puzzles needing obscure solutions, and plenty of distracting jump scares to get in the way, this felt like FNAF at its peak. FNAF 3 has the iconic death scene of William Afton and the single best horror design in a video game, let alone the franchise itself, Springtrap. I can't even imagine what the pain was like enduring being snapped and broken by the Springlock suit, but we all know he deserved it. FNAF 1. The original, the iconic, and best looking of any game in the franchise, FNAF 1 was nearly perfection. The nostalgia may play a slight role in this decision, but the tension of this game is only beaten by one game on this list. The only true weakness this game has is lack of lore. There were some newspapers and the "It's Me" messages flashing on your screen, but other than that, the lore was mostly talking about the Bite of 87 and created mystery around the animatronics themselves. FNAF 4. This may come as a surprise to some, but FNAF 4 is the number 2 on my list. This game was simply terrifying to play as a kid, especially with the focus on listening to the monsters lurking by your bedroom doors, and not even really ever knowing if you were safe. The horror aspects were perfect. The tension built from characters like Nightmare Bonnie, Foxy, and Fredbear made this game so scary that I as a kid had to take breaks in between playing it. Thankfully, the lore aspects broke up the nights and added a huge amount of new information that we knew barely anything about. The main protagonist we play as in the games, Michael Afton, and his little brother, the Bite Victim. This game has some iconic moments.
Was that the Bite of 87?
No, it wasn't, Mark. but it was indeed one of the most gruesome scenes we'd seen at that point in FNAF. Honorable mentions. Though these games didn't make it to the list, they were enjoyable to say the least. FNAF World, such a different game, but I couldn't really add it to the list in good conscience. It had some interesting moments and even lore bits with Baby, though it's speculative what the minigame even means for the lore anymore. Also, Freddy in Space. This game was made as mostly a joke and a callback to Scott's old games, but this game raised a ton of money for charity, so it deserves a mention. FNAF 2. The Victor. Many of you may have seen this coming, or should have at least with the process of elimination, but in my opinion, the best FNAF game ever made, FNAF 2. This game has everything from phone guy, scary, freaky mini games that gave us so much lore about the missing children's incident, cutscenes of the animatronics in FNAF 1 looking at us and the puppets staring us in the eyes, to tons of new jump scares, and I can't forget to mention its awesome trailer.
London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady.
This game had it all. It really did, down to the smallest detail. The horror and tension aspects, as well as so much to deal with, added together to make a very stressful and very difficult gameplay. But the minigames and the lore aspects brought us down to earth and gave us so much more reason to theorize. It's really what made the FNAF community, and I think we can all agree it was a blessing. I hope you all enjoyed my video, and make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching my video to the end, and let me know down below what your list would be. And if I was wrong, tell me why. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see y'all in the next one. God bless and bye, y'all.